Hey, have a chat with me about postpartum. I've got my puppy here. I probably won't drink this at all during it, but it's here. But anyway, I just wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about my postpartum journey. Hope it encourages somebody because I know postpartum can be something that's really confusing. And I just wanted to share my story in hopes that, like I said, the Lord just speaks through it in whatever way that is. But I'm 9 months postpartum. I definitely feel the most like myself, I guess this new self, than I have my whole postpartum journey. But I had Kinsley last May, which will be a year old in a couple months, which I can't believe. And postpartum has been great. It's been really hard. I definitely think that the way that my emotions and my personality has changed a little bit surprised me, as well as my struggle with body image as well, which I kind of had a feeling would be hard. I know of a lot of people have talked about that postpartum, and I think I expected myself to not have such a hard time with it, especially because I prayed over it for a long time. But it's definitely been an interesting journey, and so I'll talk about that part in a little bit. But beginning of postpartum, it took me like 4 days to actually process delivery. I think being in labor for 48 hours and being in pain for that long, I just kind of like shut everything else out and was like, I'm going to get this baby out. And so it wasn't until the fourth day I actually looked down and I was like, oh, this is my baby. And I had her, and this is how delivery went. So I definitely didn't dissociate when she came out, but I expected myself to feel more emotional, if that makes sense, once she was here. And so she was on my chest and I was like, oh, this is cool. Like, this is my baby. But it didn't feel the way that I thought it was going to feel. And then 4 days postpartum, I just looked down at her and just like lost it, because I feel like I had finally processed through everything and my body had kind of calmed down, and some of that like pain and endurance from labor had kind of chilled out, some of that adrenaline, and I was finally able to process through it. Like every night after I had her, I literally dreamt about delivery and processed through all the things that happened in the actually delivery part and kind of replayed it in my brain. And then my milk also came in, so my hormones were all over the place that first week. And so it honestly just felt like a blur. I felt like a blob of emotions and tiredness and puffiness is what I felt like. But after that first week, I would say the body image stuff probably started after the first week. I think I just expected my body to calm down a lot more once she was out, but it took a long time. Like, I feel like 9 months postpartum, I'm kind of finally at a place that I feel more myself in my own skin and like proud of my body now, even though I've been proud of it the whole journey. But I'm more confident now than I was for sure at the beginning of it. And I definitely didn't expect to have such a hard time with the emotions going up and down. The first like 3 months were really hard, especially for my husband and I, just figuring out our journey together, how our communication went, especially with me being a little bit more up and down. There were things that bothered me that still bother me now that didn't bother me before. And so we're relearning like communication and my love languages and everything, because I'm just different than I was. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's just learning like the new you and being proud of the fact that you like had a whole baby and you and your best friend have this like tiny version of yourselves. But the first 3 months were really hard. I have been going nonstop for like 2.5 years now. I basically moved up here, started a new job, and started NP school at the same time. And so I'm used to like my days full of studying, working, and then spending the evenings with my husband if I can, if I don't have homework. And so I had a really hard time the first 3 months sitting still and just being present with Kinsley and being like, okay, today all I have to do is hold my baby. Like, it doesn't matter if things don't get done in the house. I don't have to study. I took I'm still on a break from school, but I took a break from school to be with her for this first year. And so I had a really hard time just sitting and being like, I'm just going to sit here and hold my baby because that's all that matters in the world. It took me a really long time to be okay with that. And so I used to have to tell myself, no, I can just sit here and hold her for a nap. No, I can just sit here and play with her because this time goes so fast. And people would tell me that, like, hey, soak in every moment because it goes fast. And that is so true. And I wish I had done more of that in the first couple months, but it was just hard. And so I didn't think I would struggle with that as much as I did. And then after 3 months, I feel like I got better at that. And as she got more interactive, it was like exciting to get to just hang out with her and do her thing. I started going out a little bit more, challenging myself to go get coffee once a week or go for a drive and get out of the house or go try to spend time with friends and to like call friends or call my parents and talk to my mom and do little things in the day that brought me joy, especially because after 3 months, she started napping a little bit more independently, but I had to hold her all the time. So it was really hard to have time for myself. So an easy way to do that was like go to Target, go walk around, go buy an energy drink, and then get like a little cup, a Starbucks cup, and put it in there and have like a fun cup for the day. So little things like that. And I did that for a couple months, and I really saw a difference in just how I felt and not feeling so like isolated. And then around 6 months postpartum, I feel like my brain kind of came back. I've been trying to restudy because I'm starting school back up in May. And I feel like my brain is finally clicking and everything again. Like I can actually, especially now, like I can do quick math and stuff again. Where for me personally, brain fog really bad the first 6 months. Like it was pretty rough. And I had a hard time remembering things and remembering things my husband would tell me and my parents would tell me and being on schedule and all that kind of stuff. And so between like 3 to 4 months, I kind of felt it come back, but 6 months is when I really started feeling like my brain was back and I could do things again. And I got more confident taking her out places. I'm excited to hang out with her, and she was interacting a lot more, and so it got a lot more fun. And then this past like 6 to 9 months has been my favorite postpartum as far as like Kinsley and myself goes. Like I feel so much more confident. She naps independently in her crib now for naps, and so I get to like work out if I want to and do little things through the house that like bring me joy, which helps a lot with just my like emotions being all over the place. I feel like I'm a lot more steady when I'm like having time on my own and I don't feel so like overwhelmed. And then as far as Kinsley goes, she's so interactive and so fun to play with, and so that has also helped me when it's been really hard, is watching her just find so much joy in the little things. And that has really helped me the whole time, truly, like watching her just love the world and get excited about small stuff. And I remember that like the way that I feel about her, watching her just explore the world and get so excited about things, is how Jesus sees me. And so when it's gotten really hard and I felt really overwhelmed and like I'm a bad mom, or I'm too emotionally unstable, or I just feel sad in a day, I remember that like God looks at me the way that I look at Kinsley, and it makes me like, brings me a lot of joy. Almost makes me want to cry thinking about it, but like it truly is so cool watching her experience the world the way that she does and how much joy it brings her. And that has really gotten me through a lot of hard spots postpartum. And then communication too, like we're learning, my husband and I, so much more about like how to communicate better now and how to balance our time, like spending time with each other to make sure our like marriage and unit is strong to be better parents for her. And then another thing that I really struggled with postpartum was my time with the Lord. Now I prayed like all the time, prayed over her all the time, prayed with him all the time, talked to him all the time throughout the journey, and just getting to be with her gets to show me him. But my actual like physical alone time was really hard. Like I used to have this big routine and set my day up with it, but I've had to change things. Like you just have to be more flexible when you have a baby. And I think the alone time with the Lord was the easiest thing for me to kind of put on the back burner because I didn't really know what kind of routine to have. And I finally kind of am starting to get that back to now that she sleeps in her own room at night. Like I have time at night to come in here and just enjoy my time with the Lord, and that has also helped. So that was a lot more challenging than I thought it would be too, is having alone time with God and trying to find my relationship with him and not just run to Kinsley all the time and run to like hang out with her or like talk to my husband, like actually spending time with him because he's the one that is my true like foundation. And then body image was really hard. So this sounds dumb and not many people like know this about me, but growing up I did run track and cross country since I was like 7 and ran 1 year in college. And I've always struggled a little bit with body image because I remember growing up, I was kind of a chunky kid and people would be like, I don't know how she's that fast, that size. And then as I got older, I guess I was considered more of like a bigger distance runner. I never looked like your distance runner type, and I struggled with that for a little bit, especially in college. And then in college, after I quit running, I just said, I'm not eating good anymore. I'm not working out for like 2 years. So I went through a whole thing with like gaining weight in college and having to remember like I'm beautiful no matter what. But anyway, went on a long journey to lose weight healthily and to get the healthiest I've been, reduce inflammation, and with reducing inflammation, lost some weight and got back into like a healthy mindset with working out and feeling strong and all the things. Found my love for working out and found my new way, because all I did was run for a long time and I didn't really know how to like exercise and find passion anywhere else. And so I got to this really good mental headspace. I was healthy, my inflammation was down. We kind of had found out what was happening to me and making me like pass out while I was running. And so I got to this really, really healthy state. And then I found out I was pregnant, and I knew from the beginning it was going to be hard for me just because I had been working really hard to like stay healthy and fit, and I knew my body was going to change. And so through the end of the pregnancy, I got pretty like swollen and puffy, and it got really hard to like look at myself and love myself, honestly, which makes me really sad to say out loud, but it was hard. And my husband had to encourage me a lot, and I had to remind myself like I was literally growing a human, and that is the coolest thing ever. And praying to the Lord and surrendering it to Him, but also knowing it was okay for me to feel uncomfy, like it was okay. And then postpartum, I thought the weight would come off a little bit faster. And so it's taken me 9 months to get anywhere like near what I was before I had her. And there's nothing wrong with that. And I'm so proud of my body, but I also know it's okay that I struggled with it. And I wanted to talk about it because I know some people are afraid too, but I definitely for sure struggled with postpartum and just how my body has changed, and that it will never look the same again, and that's okay. But like the stretch marks that I have and like the way that my body just looks different, there is nothing wrong with those, and they remind me of the cutest little baby that I had, and I am so proud of my body for doing what it did. And I've definitely come more to terms with like how strong my body is and what it looks like now, and I'm so proud of it and so grateful for it. But I also know it's okay sometimes to just be like, it's different, and I'm in a really much better mindset now than I was, in a good mindset with food, in a good mindset with just wanting to be healthy and strong for my daughter in whatever way that looks like, to be her mom and to be confident and strong in myself and to like be excited about it. And so I love my new body. I'm so proud of it. I'm so grateful for it, but it definitely took a long time to get there. And one more thing that I did not expect. I'm not really an anxious person, but I've definitely had more postpartum anxiety when it comes to like the things that could harm her. Like my little heart is in a person and my husband's heart is in a person that can be hurt by the world. And growing up, I was always worried about like my loved ones dying. Like my parents, I would get scared every time they went on a road trip that they were going to die. And so I surrendered that to the Lord all the time and was in a really good place. And then having Kinsley just brought it back up again, like that really bad anxiety of like, oh my gosh, something could happen to her. So I've had to surrender that. And ultimately, I tell myself every day, at the end of the day, she is His. Whenever she goes to bed, whenever she is awake, like she is His, and His will be done with that. And so that is my prayer every night, that I say, I lift her up to you, Lord. I pray that you would, if it be in your will, we get another day to hang out with her. And I always tell Him, like, thank you for the day I got to spend with my daughter. Thank you for who she is. I'm not going to cry thinking about it, but it definitely makes me nervous. Like I know that so many things could happen to her and this world is scary, and that's been something I have to keep my brain from spinning on a loop about and just give it up to the Lord, knowing that like she's His. And I could cry thinking about just like how nervous I get sometimes about just everything that's coming ahead and the things that could happen, but to remind myself to sit in the joy and to sit in the goodness and to sit in the fact that like I can't think about all those things all at the same time. And my husband's been really great too about like encouraging me in that way. And then I also get anxious about things hurting her, like germs when we go out, toxins at my house, chemicals, and all those things. And so postpartum, I definitely did a deep dive into cleaning out my home and replacing non-toxic, like getting everything non-toxic and slowly converting my home. I've always been really big on that kind of stuff, but having Kinsley definitely made it like, okay, we got to do some things, because I was also so anxious, and this has helped my anxiety so much. It has brought me so much peace of mind knowing that I have like clean products in my home, and that has been so incredibly amazing. And I am just so grateful for like the research I did to find the store that I use. Yeah, that has been one of the biggest things postpartum that has helped me a lot, and just easing some of that, taking that load off, is shopping at this store, and then buying really good foods as well to make her like purees, and getting to make her own food has also helped with that too. But mostly it's been prayer and surrender, and just remembering that she is the Lord's and He is going to take care of her, and that when other people have her, they also want what's best for her as well. And that just because it's not my way doesn't mean it's the wrong way. And that like my parents, her grandparents on both sides, like my sisters, my friends, anyone who comes in contact with her want what's best for her too. And so it's been a lot of prayer and surrender, but it's been really good, and I'm just so grateful for her. But I know that was a lot. I just wanted to share some of my honest like things that I went through postpartum, and I hope that that encourages somebody to just know it's okay to feel like a mess and that it does get better, and you start to learn to love this new version of yourself. Things do change, but like you had a baby, so a lot of things change, and it's the coolest thing to get to be a mom and to get to experience the world in a whole new way. and experienced my marriage in a whole new way, and just life. I see life so much different now, and I'm so grateful for it and for the things that she has taught me and the ability to be more present every day. I'm just excited to wake up and hang out with her, and the fact that she's just excited to wake up reminds me that like every day is a good day when you get to wake up and see the sunshine and get to see Jesus and everything. So yeah. Well, thank you for sitting and listening. I know this was a longer video, but I hope you guys have a good day.